The next one, this is kind of like a little scenario here that we're going to walk through, and there's a lot that we can unpack with this. So let's dive into this one. I run the marketing for my e-commerce website all on my own. This isn't easy. A few months ago, I started putting a lot of effort into growing my business by improving my website content using SEO, paid ads, social media, guest posting, blogging, even some influencer marketing. I've seen a big increase in sales, but I don't know which marketing efforts are really helping the most. I'm doing a lot of things, so which of these are really gaining traction? I like to adjust my marketing budget and my time to focus on what's actually making me the most revenue. I don't interact with my customers that much directly since it's online. So how am I going to figure this out?
We deal with this all the time, and it's also fascinating. First off, this is an amazing problem to have. So if you have this problem, great for you. But it is important to know where it's coming from, not only so you can focus your efforts there, but maybe so you can cut out some of those less helpful efforts. The good news is that there's so many options to figuring out where the success is coming from. If you don't already have Google Analytics on your site, get that yesterday, get it now. Start collecting data, because that data is going to answer most of your questions. If you do have Google Analytics, which you should, or once you start collecting that data, look over your source and acquisition tracking. That'll tell you where your visitors are coming from, whether they're coming from just a search engine, PPC, which search engine, referral traffic if you're using guest blogs or influencer marketing, what type of social media and whatnot. You can also look at the visitor behavior. Like if you have specific landing pages, you can find out where those customers are going before they convert. That's really, really helpful. If you have specific products or different efforts that you're advertising, find out which pages they're going to and decide where you're showing those pages and how you're showing those pages, and that'll give you a lot of data. And if you don't have conversions or goals set up within analytics, set that up. If you have certain pages that are only accessed by visitors who make a purchase on your site, or certain pages that are only accessed from people clicking on certain ads, make those into a goal, and you can find out exactly when that's happening, how often that's happening, and that's really, really helpful. In addition to Google Analytics, there can also be in-platform analytics, like we mentioned earlier, on social media or on paid media or paid advertising or things like that. So yeah, that's the biggest part, the analytics. Also, if you have an e-commerce site, and you've probably seen this a lot if you've used e-commerce sites, adding a quick survey at the checkout or after the checkout, it's just saying, how did you hear about us? That's a really, really easy thing, a multiple choice thing. Most people are going to answer that because it doesn't take any more time. They just click it, hit submit, and then you have a little bit of that insight. And it's kind of makes up for the not having that one-to-one interaction. So that was a lot of answers, David. Did you have any follow-ups?
I didn't hear any of that. I think I blacked out for a moment. What happened? No, that was great. It reminds me of something that I say from time to time, which is what gets measured gets improved. So the theme here is data collection. You want to make sure you can determine, to the extent appropriate and possible, attribution to where this stuff is coming in from. In the marketing space, I know there's a lot of different thoughts going around about, how important is attribution? It is pretty important where appropriate. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just want people to become brand aware. But if you're trying to figure out if a particular channel is driving traffic and ultimately is tied to revenue generation, making sure you have this stuff in place so that you can track that as much as possible, that's going to help you make some decisions on that, right?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest mistakes we see with that, David, that goes right along with what you were saying is we see a lot of situations, especially customers that come to us looking for us to help them analyze this. They send a lot of traffic to the homepage. So they send their social media traffic to their homepage and their ads traffic to their homepage. If you're trying to figure out where your traffic is coming from or how your traffic comes in, don't do that, because that's going to limit the amount of data you get. If everything goes to the homepage, it's going to be a lot harder to analyze not only where your traffic is coming from, but why they're coming to your site. If you have landing pages or send traffic from different areas to specific pages, it's going to be a lot easier to analyze that data.
Mm-hmm. And do we sometimes call that like deep linking, like linking to a specific page further down in a site information hierarchy, effectively?
I don't know if actually that's a good thing to check on, deep linking. I think that that might have to do with it. I think that might have something to do with on-site traffic as well. But it, there's a similar word to it. But for the most part, it's landing page tracking. But you
Hmm.
might be right, David. I'll check on that afterwards.
No, I don't think it's a right or wrong thing. There's different ways to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Nerd alert, like one of my favorite things in Google Analytics in the behavior reports, so we're talking about user behavior, not like, am I being a good boy? Google Analytics just doesn't know about that. But to the point about website traffic, the behavior reports, one of my favorite pieces of that is the behavior flow reporting, which will show drop off from where people enter your site. And it's a really nice graphical user interface or a graphical kind of report where you can see how most of your traffic often comes to the front page, as you say there, Sarah, right? And then where do they go from there? Maybe they go to this next page, this service page, contact page, and then be able to see like the amount of people who just don't go further, and then where they drop off further and further down the hierarchy of your site's content. I find it so fascinating because you can almost just kind of like follow people on this little journey. Now, certainly you can do that in a much more dynamic and live way using tools like Hotjar, which we really like for that sort of user behavior recording. And by the way, all these tools we mentioned, we're not being sponsored by these companies to mention them. They just happen to be great tools that we like. That is all. But yeah, following people along because, you can very quickly surmise, are things in a healthy state or not? If you're seeing like, you know, 80% of your traffic going to the front page and 80% of that traffic falling off, you could have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Analytics are great. Again, yay data.
And get it set up early. One of the worst things you might have a feeling for when you're working with your website and want to get into your digital marketing is, oh yeah, our website's been up about 5 years ago. Oh, let's look at the analytics. It's like, yeah, analytics. I think we got something. And then you find out you got no data from the previous 5 years. It's cue sad panda face, like, wah, wah. It's like, that's too bad, right? You're missing out on a lot of context that could help you see like how things have grown over time. And we can certainly extrapolate things based on like keywords and other stuff with some of these tools that we mentioned. But again, they're only projections and models. Having the actual raw data of actual traffic is priceless.
Yes, it is. Hi, this is Sarah from Denver Data Web. Thanks for watching. Please like our video and subscribe for future digital strategy chats. You can also visit our website at denverdata.com or find us on social media at Denver Data Web.